morning, everybody, and welcome to CodeNet Solutions. And once again, I remain Joshua, and it's nice to have you here again. And for those of you who watched the last video we posted, we want to say a big thank you. Thank you for your subscription. Thank you for following us. And like we promised, today we will begin with introduction to HTML, which is one of the sole focus of this channel. Okay, so today we will be looking at HTML as a topic. Remember, in case you are just joining us, what's this tutorial all about? What's this video all about? Now, once again, CodeNet Solution is a body that is into web design and development, as well as providing tutorials and trainings for individuals, and we promise to engage in series of trainings as it concerns web design. However, our target is strictly those who are new into web design, those who are new into coding, and that's those this tutorial is actually focusing on. So if you are an expert, okay, and you are an intermediate programmer, web developer, you might find this tutorial a bit boring, but nevertheless you can still learn something, I believe. And so, like I said, this tutorial is for newbies and for beginners, and the content is plainly HTML. Now, there are no CSS, there are no JavaScript, just HTML. And before I continue, I want to say, please, I'm so sorry for the background noise. I just have some people walking around me, and but then I promised to do this video today, so I have to go ahead with it. So once again, I apologize for the noise in the background. Okay, so like I was saying, that the content of this video is plainly HTML, no CSS, no JavaScript, just HTML. And I'm sure you'll be wondering, what is HTML? We're gonna see in the course of this tutorial. And so, what exactly is HTML? So let's get started. HTML is a standard markup language for creating web pages. Now, if you look at the screen, you're going to notice the word markup language is highlighted, web pages highlighted. So why are these words highlighted? Now, first of all, I want to point out here that HTML is not a programming language. It is not a programming language. I repeat, HTML is not a programming language. It is a markup language, and shortly you will be seeing what is a markup language. Now, the basic use or the sole aim of HTML is for creating web pages. So I'm sure you're wondering, okay, creating web pages. So what is web page, or what are web pages? Now, a website is just a collection of web pages that are related and interlinked. So what does that mean? You log on to Google, okay, you type a particular website, and the content of that website is displayed. What are you seeing? It's just different web pages that are interlinked. And so how do you go about creating a website, as it were, by creating individual web pages? And that's what we're about to learn using HTML. So what's a markup language? Okay, the markup language is a computer language that uses tags to define elements within a document. Now let me try to explain that. Unlike a programming language, which makes use of syntax, okay, when you are coding, in a markup language you use your tags, and these tags contains elements that are so readable, okay, to humans, so very readable to humans. And guess what? They define the structure of your web page. They define how your web page is going to appear, okay? And having seen what the markup language is, so what is HTML? Now, HTML simply means hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. And what's the function of this language? It describes the structure of a web page. It describes the structure of a web page. Now, one thing HTML will not do for you, HTML does not add color to your web page. HTML does not add design to your web page. It doesn't add animation to your web page. It is just the structure. Okay, it's the structure, and HTML takes a top bottom approach design. What do I mean by that? It's like saying first come, first serve. So the elements you key in first is what appears first. The one you key in next is what comes. So it just basically defines the structure of a web page. And then you should also take note that HTML consists of series of elements. So now that we know what HTML is, let's see a very simple HTML document. I'm sure you're wondering, what is this doc type, HTML, blah, 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 what so? And the course, or at the end of this tutorial, all this will be simplified to your understanding, okay? Now, every HTML begins with a declaration statement, okay, or a declaration tag, as the case may be. Now, you're going to notice here that we have some words in between your angle brackets. We call them tags. Okay? So like we said, your HTML or your markup language makes use of tags, okay, to define elements, okay? Now, the very first tag in any HTML document you would always see, or you would always have, is the declaration tag, which tells the browser the version, okay, or the type of HTML you are using. And as it were, recently we have HTML5, which is the newest standard in HTML, okay? And so this tutorial is focused on HTML5. And how do I go about telling the browser that, oh, this web page I'm creating is integrating HTML5? Simple, your document declaration. And how do you do that? An exclamation mark followed by doc type and then HTML, and that's all. And if you ever get to see HTML4 or lower, it's always a long line of tags. HTML5 is so simple, just a simple statement, doc type HTML. Remember the exclamation mark in front of the doc type. Now, immediately after your declaration statement, you have the HTML tag itself. Now, you would notice something, that each of these tags, apart from the doc type, every other tag you're seeing here are kind of duplicates. For example, I have the first HTML here, and look at it, you also have another HTML. What's the difference? The difference lies in the backslash. So what does that mean? For every tag you're going to use in the course of writing your web pages, we have what we call the opening tag and the closing tag. We have what we call the opening tag and the closing tag. Now, you open a particular tag, insert the content, and you close the tag. Please take notes. If you fail to close a tag, you might have some challenge, you might have some issue, you might run into some problems in the course of coding. So we have the opening tag and then the closing tag. Now, the opening tag and the closing tag are similar. The difference is what the use of a backslash in your closing tag. So we have the HTML followed by the head. Inside the head, you have the title, which describes the title of your page. And then the body, you close your body, and finally you close your HTML. Now, this is just a simple HTML document, okay? This is what it looks like. Now, the next thing you're going to ask yourself is this. Now, I know what HTML is, okay? I understand or understood the markup now. So what do I need to get started? It's very simple. There are two basic things you need. Two basic things. Yes, of course, you need a laptop. That's like a primary standard. You need a laptop, okay? You might be wondering, okay, can I do this with my phone? We recommend a laptop for you. As much as there is so much you can do with the phone, there are also limits of things to which you can do with the phone, okay? If you're going to write standard web pages, you're going to need a laptop. Now, this laptop should be equipped with two basic things. a web browser, a text editor. Now, the web browser displays your page, and I highly recommend using Chrome browser. That's Google Chrome. I highly recommend that. It has a powerful developer tool, which will be seen much later in the course of our tutorials. Now, the second thing, being a text editor, that is actually where you get to write your HTML document, okay, using a text editor. And there's so many of them out there in the market, so many of them, free, paid, so many, okay. But in the course of this tutorial, we will be using Visual Studio Code, and I also want to recommend that you can go for Sublime Text, you can go for Atom, you can go for Notepad++, whichever. It's all about choice. But like I said, we will be using Visual Studio Code in the course of this tutorial. Okay, so now that you know what you need to get started, I'm sure you just can't wait to start coding and start writing your own web page. Okay, however, we're going to leave that for the next class. Okay, in our next video, we will be installing Visual Studio Code. We'll see, peradventure you don't have the Chrome browser, we'll see how to download and install it into your system, install the Visual Studio Code, and then open a file and start on writing our web pages. I want to believe that you've learned something today in the course of this tutorial. Okay, like I said, this tutorial is aimed for newbies, it's aimed for beginners, and one thing I want to advise is, if you want to be a very good web developer, web programmer, you're going to need to exercise patience. I repeat, patience. Now, it's not something you're just going to do in 5 minutes, like, oh, when do I really start to code and start to do this? No, you're going to need to exercise patience. Patience. It's going to be a key word. And trust me, with patience, you're going to learn everything you need to know about web design. All right. So once again, I want to say thank you so very much for being a part of this program. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the time. I love you guys. If you have questions, you have comments, please do not hesitate to indicate them in the comment section, and always remember to share our videos, subscribe, and click the like button. All right, so until when next we meet again, okay, stay tuned, sit up, tighten up or fasten up your belt and get ready, because our next tutorial is going to be coding and coding and coding. So thank you so very much for your time once again. I remain Joshua, a representative of CodeNet Solution. All right, have a nice day. Bye.